Blessed. Welcome back to my channel. This is going to be my daughter Cosette, or Coco's 7-month update. Let me know in the comments your very favorite thing about this stage. If you find something of value in this video, I appreciate it so much if you click the thumbs up button below, because that will help other people find me. And please subscribe if you'd like to see more from me. So up front, I just want to say I enjoy watching these videos, and I wanted to share our experience and our challenges and our triumphs and all of that. But I want to be really clear that if you have a 7-month-old who is not doing some or any of the things that my 7-month-old is doing, that doesn't mean anything at all except that they are individual people. So please do not compare your baby to other babies, and do not feel discouraged in any way if your baby is taking longer to develop certain skills than other babies that you see around them. Doesn't mean anything's wrong. In fact, it might mean that something else is developing that you aren't seeing, like something going on in their brain. Yeah, every baby's different. I'll start with a quick postpartum update on me. I'm still breastfeeding, and that is going so much better than it was in the beginning, ever since we got Coco help with her torticollis through physical therapy, which has just vastly improved her ability to latch because it's improved her flexibility and her strength in her neck. Early on, I had really huge struggles, and now that's basically all cleared up, and I'm really enjoying breastfeeding, which is wonderful. As you can see, my breasts are still absolutely enormous. They've always been large, but they are pretty out of control at the moment. And I've mostly been wearing like these bralettes. These are really incredible bralettes for larger bust sizes, not sponsored, but I will link below if I remember, because huge recommendation. The only bralette that works. And I've been wearing these, and I've been wearing like comfy nursing bras that don't have underwire. And it's been nice because, they don't give a great shape or support or anything like that, but because I've been quarantined, I'm pretty much just hanging out in sweats all the time anyway. So I'm also holding on to a lot of additional weight still. I dropped a ton in the first couple weeks, and then I didn't really drop much after that. I think I gained 30 pounds. Whatever I gained, it was like right there in the middle of what's recommended. And I am not worried about losing it. I will say this: I'm hungrier as a breastfeeding mom than I ever was pregnant. I'm hungrier than I've ever been in my life. And I also don't have the time or interest in really doing a lot in the way of working out. I mean, I go for walks, I do some yoga around the house, and I carry baby around all the time. But I'm not stressing about it, giving my body grace, and really just working on appreciating my body and loving the body that I have more than trying to transform it. I have not gotten my period back. I definitely get like uterine cramps sometimes when I'm breastfeeding, just randomly. And then I always think that maybe it means my period's gonna come back, but it hasn't yet. So that's me. Let's talk about Coco. Probably the biggest change we've had over the last month has been transitioning her from co-sleeping in the bed with me to sleeping in her crib. I actually filmed a Sleep Train With Me video, which I will link here or here. And you can check that out for more details if you are curious. So I won't go into the details here on why we did it or how it worked or anything like that, but suffice to say, she's now sleeping through the night, completely night weaned, and she is in her crib, and Ryan and I are back to being in the bed together. He'd been sleeping downstairs, and she's also napping in her crib. She's doing that right now, so that has been huge for everyone. I had been at that point, I was on about 3 months of never sleeping longer than 3 hours at a time, and I have noticed a huge change in my brain function since starting to get full nights of sleep again. And I feel so much better, obviously, and just enjoy my life more and enjoy time with her more. And she is also noticeably happier with getting better and longer sleep at night and much better naps. So that is huge. The other really big thing is that she is now sitting. I was practicing sitting with her a lot on the bed, you know, because I wanted something cushy, because she would fall over all the time, right? And she would fall a lot. And then during one of her telehealth physical therapy appointments, which is like a, you know, FaceTime physical therapy, her therapist had me sit her up, and we were sitting just on a rug on the hardwood floor, and she all of a sudden held it for a lot longer than she had before, and because she had that firm surface. And then I think after that she sort of knew that she could sit, and because she knew that she could sit, it like rapidly got better after that. And within a few days she went from only sitting for like 15 seconds at the most before toppling over to just sitting indefinitely like 15 minutes, you know?
There it is. Good job. Hi, look at you. There it is. Good job. That was really good. Look at you. Look what you're doing. Look at you sitting.
And now she can play with toys. She doesn't even need her hands to sit, and just look all around, and she's completely stable. And it's really cool. It's awesome for her. She gets a new perspective on the world. A lot of times she enjoys the fact that when she's sitting, she can sort of see us better and what's going on, instead of just staring straight up at the ceiling or the sky. And it's just fun to see her doing it. She has her little butt, you know, pushed out in the back, and it's really a lot more convenient, because like I used to in the morning when I needed to like brush my teeth and do that stuff, I would put her in her crib so that she'd be safe, so that I could do that. And now I sit her up on the rug on the bathroom floor to do it, so she's right there with me. Anyway, the sitting is very exciting, and it's a huge step. She still does not really get out of a sit. She's toppled out of a sit onto her belly like a couple times, but it was intentional, like she wanted to get out of the sit, but it wasn't really like controlled. But I'm practicing with her, like showing her how she can transfer into the side seated position and then walk out to her belly. She also seems like she is so wanting to crawl and like almost ready to crawl. She, on her belly, will scooch herself back a lot. She gets her butt really high in the air, and it's really just that tummy that hasn't gotten off the ground, but she's very mobile. She pivots a lot, and she just seems like she's really going to just take off when she can crawl. Let's see, physical therapy is going well. She has fits and starts, she progresses and regresses, and that's all just very typical of torticollis. So we're working on that, but the breastfeeding issue is totally cleared up, as I said, and yeah, it doesn't seem to be holding her back at all, so we're just continuing to work on it so that it will not hold her back as she continues to progress. So she's still obviously primarily being breastfed. We have been introducing solids. We've been trying to give her something every day, either something of what I'm eating. I'll share my smoothie with her.
More?
Or give her, you know, some mashed potatoes or something else that is pureed if we're eating something like that. And I give her mashed up fruits and veg that I make myself, or from a pouch. She had what we think is an allergic reaction to a packaged baby food. I think it was probably the kiwis in it, but it had a couple different ingredients in there, so it's hard to know for sure. She just got hives on her legs, and we called her doctor, and you know, we got the okay to just sort of not give her that food again, but just keep an eye on it and call them back if we see anything else like that again. It was a little bit scary when it happened, but the thing is, she didn't really even seem bothered by the hives. She definitely didn't have trouble breathing or any kind of stomach problems associated with it, and she was in just a happy mood, as happy as ever. So yeah, it was a little bit disconcerting, but I guess it feels good to have gotten through something like that for the first time, and feel like, you know, we handled it well and nothing bad happened. I think it kind of eases a little bit of the fear. We have introduced eggs and peanut butter, which her doctor said to introduce between 6 and 9 months in order to try to reduce the likelihood that she will have an allergy to one of those. And we've given her all kinds of other fruits and vegetables, and she hasn't had a reaction. So we are thinking it's probably the kiwis that were in the mix that we gave her when she had the hives. So hopefully that'll be something she grows out of, because kiwis are delicious. And I think it's pretty common for kids this age to have allergies that they actually grow out of. So we have started giving her some yogurt puffs, which she doesn't have the pincher grasp yet, so she can't really like pick them up and put them in her mouth. But if we put them in her mouth for her, she enjoys them. And we're practicing, you know, putting them out for her on her tray, on her high chair, and having her like try to pick them up. In terms of language or social skills, she's definitely babbling like crazy. She says a lot of G sounds and B sounds. She still doesn't say mama or dada. She makes a lot of raspberry noises, and she likes to copy us and go back and forth with blowing raspberries. She also giggles a lot, and we have little giggle conversations where she makes me laugh and then my laugh makes her laugh, and we go back and forth, which is like so sweet and fun. She will sometimes do like an like really, really loud that almost sounds distressed, but then you can tell that it's really just her like testing her voice and trying to get attention or seeing what she can do. There were a couple times where it seemed like she was maybe saying Augie, which is the cat's name, but it's so hard to tell because those are sort of some similar sounds that she makes a lot. It was in the context with the cat, and you know, we would say Augie, and then she had said Augie, but I'm just not sure if it counts as a first word because we couldn't really get her to repeat it. But it did happen on 2 separate occasions, both involving the cat, and it really did sound like Augie. So we're keeping an eye on that to see if that seems to be something that gets repeated that we can count as a first word or not. I do think it's pretty early for an actual first word. She likes to put her feet in her mouth, but primarily she does it when she's sitting. She'll lean down. She doesn't do a lot of lying on her back and bringing her feet up to her mouth, which is the only thing in her check-in for physical therapy for her age that it was not like in line with like, you know, average or development or whatever. And her physical therapist said it was probably just a slight lack of core strength, lower core strength. So I'm just encouraging her to do that when she is on her back. I kind of bring her feet up for her and get her to hold them and, you know, kind of show her that that's something fun that she can play with so that she works those muscles. But I'm not worried about it. I also think it could be core strength. It could just be lack of interest. That could just be not how she plays with her feet. Like I said up front, every kid is different. She is such a cute little chunk. She has these beautiful chunky thighs with rolls that I absolutely love. When we had her measured at 6 months, she was 18 pounds something. So she's probably a little bit bigger than that now. And she is 26 inches, or 2'2", as I like to say. And she is really getting some hair coming in. So she had some hair when she was born, but she's always looked pretty bald, especially from a distance. It's always been kind of fine, although dark. And then she had a bald spot at the back of her head from lying on her back when she was a newborn. And now that bald spot is completely covered and she has all kinds of new hair growth, and it's getting really thick and soft to the touch. It's really cool to see. She has a little swirl in the back of her head, and you can tell that her hair naturally grows to the left, so she's going to have a part on the right, which is the opposite of me, which I think is interesting. And she has really long eyelashes and really great eyebrows. Yeah, she's just, her feet seem to be getting really big. I've noticed that a lot lately, how big her feet are. and I still have to trim her nails all the time, but I've gotten a lot better at it. I haven't had an accident with that in a long time, so that's really good. But I notice that they need to get trimmed more now, because when she breastfeeds, she does a lot of like grabbing and squeezing my breast. In fact, I have like some bruises on one of my breasts from it. But when her nails start to get longer, I feel them digging into my breast. So it used to be, I would notice her nails needed to be trimmed mostly because she would scratch her own face. Now I think she has more control and she doesn't scratch herself as much, and I notice when she is clawing me. She loves grabbing onto faces. She likes to hold her dad by his chin right here, which we call the daddy handle. And she loves to grab my nose and stick her fingers in my mouth and grab my, teeth and kind of pull me at her. She likes to pull my hair, and if I'm wearing a necklace, she pulls my necklace. Very handsy. She's now strong enough that I can pretty much hold her in that typical big kid sort of sitting on my hip with her legs on either side. That started basically around the time that she was sitting up independently. She started to feel more comfortable being held like that, which is nice because it's a bit more ergonomic for me and I don't have as much back pain with carrying her around. She is still not a huge fan of the baby wearing, like, when she was littler, I wore her a lot in my boba style wrap, and she did like that. But now that she's more aware, she likes to be able to look around. And we have just struggled with the ring sling a little bit. I try it and then I kind of don't use it for a little while, and then I try it again. It's been a little frustrating for me, just the amount of difficulty it takes to sort of get her situated in it correctly for the amount of time that she's happy in it before she seems to want out. So I think that's why I don't practice as much, is it's like the cost benefit is a little bit lacking, but I really want that to be a thing. So I think now that she can sit independently, I'm going to start working on it again. It's nicer than having to carry her in a lot of ways because your hands are free, but then at the same time, it's like you still have to take the time to put her in it. So I think it would be better for if she, it's not so good for like carrying her for a short period of time. It's better for if she would be happy being in that for like a whole hour while I cleaned the kitchen or something, versus like just holding her for a few minutes and then she wants down again. She has become more independent in her play, while at the same time she's starting to exhibit a bit of separation anxiety. So she really likes me to be in the same room with her and watching her, even though sometimes she's happy to sit and play by herself. She used to be where she almost never preferred to be away from me, like she wanted to be held or sitting in my lap, and she very rarely wanted to be free so that she could like wiggle. Now she wants to be free more, but she usually wants me to be there with her and looking at her and interacting with her. Whereas when she was younger, I think she wanted more physical touch, but she didn't necessarily need as much mental attention or communication. And she loves books. She has always loved books. We, could tell that she was enjoying looking at them and being read to, even when she was a newborn. But now she is definitely more into reaching out and touching them, turning the pages and stroking the touch and feel ones with the textures and everything. She has these balls that she just got from her 7-month Love Every play kit, which we unboxed in a video either here or here. And she's been really enjoying those. Those are a ton of fun.
Don't do it. I never.
She also loves playing peekaboo, and she loves, like I said, giggling back and forth or blowing raspberries back and forth. She loves her Jolly Jumper, which she has loved since we started putting her in it when she was around 4 months old, I think, but she's always had fun in it. We put her in it about 1 to 2 times a day for maybe like 15 to 20 minutes. We used to put her in it when we would have dinner because it was the best way to have her occupied and both of us could have our hands free to eat dinner. But ever since we sleep trained, we have been having dinner after we put her to bed. So now the Jolly Jumper is more a thing where we don't need it to like distract her, so that we can have our own time. We more put her in it and we kind of like play with her in it. Like I like to sit down there with her and, you know, observe her and talk to her while she jumps. And she definitely prefers being watched when she's in it. She likes to, you know, if you walk into the next room and you come back in, you'll find that she had stopped jumping and it was like watching the doorway for you. And then when you come back in, she smiles and she starts jumping again. So it's very much like, mommy, watch me, mommy, watch me. Like part of her enjoyment with that Jolly Jumper is sort of showing off to me and seeing me be proud of what she can do, you know. And that's probably my favorite thing about her right now, is the look of pride she has on her face when she does things, especially new things, for the first time. She has this expression where she looks at me and you can tell that she's just so proud of herself. And she's also excited that I'm proud of her, and it just absolutely melts my heart. It's like the best thing ever. Okay, she's up from her nap. This is Coco. Hi. Hi. But you're having a good time being 7 months old, aren't you? Would you say you're generally a happy baby? Yep, so this is my baby. She got her chunky thighs. She got her big old feet. And I can't stop kissing her because she's so snuggleable. And that wraps up our baby and postpartum 7-month update. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up to help other people find it. And I would love to see you as a new subscriber. You can check out my other videos, so hit that subscribe button if you are interested in hearing more from me. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.